Yes, sir, my pleasure. Yes, I was given a task last time around to inquire and gather information about the staff of chemistry department which works under Superior Sir. Well, I took them one by one from last month or so to discuss and get to know about few things. Though many things are generalized in it, I found certain odd things when it comes to Superior Sir's behaviors in the last few months. Two of his juniors confirmed that his behavior has shown sudden change when it comes to their work. They said some of the proceedings they used to see and look after together as a unit, but from last 1 year or so, Superior Sir took hold of those proceedings single-handedly and limited his juniors to certain other works only. In this way, it happened that the working time of Superior Sir increased from 3 hours more than his routine. He used to sit for that long in campus. Even personally, I saw that sometimes, but dismissed it by thinking that he may be busy in his research work, and that is why it is taking so much time to go ahead. We all know his dedication levels, so I never went in deep by thinking that I may disturbing him in his work. So this thing confirms that what those two told me that day was correct. So those proceedings which they both talked about includes chemistry lab new section extension planning, extension material list finalization, accounts related audit part, material listing for daily work at chemistry lab, requisition list of some of the new chemicals to be taken in, security measures, applications and implementations. Well, these are some of the works that he undertook himself. These are vital works when it comes to any chemical laboratory running, okay? And most of the parts are crucial enough in terms of say accounts, material, new chemicals and their implementations. But if you see the history of ACC's chemistry section, it was all handled by Superior Sir in the past, and with time when his responsibilities grew towards ACCS, he himself put the requirement of increasing staff under him in periodic times, and we all obliged for it to get it done. But strangely, from last 12 months or so, he was doing that work himself only, and those people were assigned some other works which they say were important in stage-wise manner for their careers. So they didn't made any doubts. But seeing their superior doing their kind of work, it looked little odd to them, but they kept it to themselves only. Okay, so this was the first chapter. Another one person has to say different story altogether. Is saying that after building that additional section under chemistry lab, the behavior of superior sirs started to change, and after a certain period, it showed drastic changes. Well, the additions in chemistry lab includes the research area, material section, material storage in basement, teachers common room, student lockers, open areas for demonstrations, closed vacuum section for study of gases and whatnot. It was all created based on the requirements raised by Superior Sir and his team, but more by Superior Sir under the reason to modernize the chemistry lab as per ACCS stature and current study times. So that agenda got passed in the meet with all majority. Although Janardhan has started to recommend this, it was after Superior Sir's insistence we gave in for this project and done what is needed. So this is second chapter of my findings. Third is, though the chemistry lab expanded from the earlier, it required additional staff to take care of it. With the earlier requirements, only 1/3 requirements was passed by Superior Sir. As per standards, it takes 9 more people to handle those additional duties, but Superior Sir recommended only 3 of them. We passed it this one too. But according to his team, the requirement was inadequate, and it dispersed all duties among current and those new 3 people only, which increased their workload to certain extent but they did manage it on time on daily basis working. It was all done. But few of them noted this change as very different. This is the third chapter. And the fourth one, which widely everyone experienced at ACCS, that superior sir then reduced much of his discussion time than usual. At morning or at the usual meeting time, he used to give clear instructions once, and the rest all have to carry their duties as per it. He reduced his helping hand nature by minimizing mid level discussion with his team, even encouraged them or giving them any tips in between. They all said that he used to conduct that one meeting only and used to hear all things in that time itself. Rest all time then he used to spend in his own work only. Though he have given them the freedom to meet him at any time to discuss any matter or issues. This may look like a new way of working method, but people found it very strange, especially when it comes to Superior Sir, as he used to take participation in every single thing before that. So the final thing is, he reduced his public discussion drastically, and many of his people confirmed the same. So apart from this, nobody told any other odd thing. But one thing I noticed with all this, they all were very fond of Superior Sir. For each and every matter they discussed, I found tremendous love for him from his people. For them, he is like a god and can do wonders when it comes to solution making on certain things, when it comes to solving the issue in final. All of them said that he never misbehaved or even raised his voice ever. Never even he got angry or frustrated with any matter or with his people. It is just that his priorities got changed from what it used to earlier, and he went in deep shell when it comes to public discussions. Just one big meeting, that's it. Everything is then provided to that person to handle it well, and they used to do it without giving any excuses. So yes people, these are my findings from last 1 month time. Okay Shripad, good job buddy. So we need to think on these 3 points now, which are observed by Shripad with his findings. Good job Shripad, good one. Yes Mahendra, good job done by Shripad. So let's discuss all 3 points. The first one is he did basic work himself when rest all staff was assigned for it, and instead he has given them some higher works to do while he was stick to that lower work. Well, as I know superior sir, he did this thing in the past as well, keeping basic things to himself to clear them properly while giving his team upper hand for higher works. But I never saw him taking interest in accounts of chemistry lab. This is even looks stranger to me. He saw the overall things to do value addition works only, that too in minimizing the unnecessary requirements and to get many more things within one order of bargain. But getting into thorough account study is something looks odd to me. It never happened earlier, at least in front of me, Shripad. Looks strange. Well, Pratap, maybe the extension of chemistry lab led him to go with all those basics again. Shripad, is the extension of chemistry lab went over the budget than required? Or has it took lot of money for it? Somewhere, yes sir, but we got what we wanted. But the way I know, at some time superior sir felt that it went over the required things and got big. Okay, so he was thinking on that line too. Okay, the next thing Shripad, has the accounts of chemistry lab ever increased than required? Something which raised everyone's eyes like that? Well sir, not much. It increased the accounts burden by 20% of existing only. That too due to the extension of laboratory. So as per thumb rule, this extra 20% complemented to it and was somewhere proportional to the newly extended chemistry lab. The way I know, only for 1 quarter it went up to 20% in addition, while for rest all time it was between 14 to 17% only, for which everyone praised superior sir and his team, sir, as you know. So Shripad, if the accounts has not shown any drastic changes and reduced the regular burdens, then we would say superior sir managed it very well on his own. So this point gets cleared. Yes, the doubt is obvious. We can employ regular people for that. And no HOD shall sit on this as per the thumb rule. But I guess superior sir is superior sir. He may have thought that it was went little higher than what he has thought. So to equalize it, he may have taken matters in his own hands to rule out any out of way working. In my opinion, this point is clear. What you say, Pratap and Shripad? Yes sir, we both agree to this part, sir. Okay then, let's move to the second point of Shripad. Well, it is about the newly constructed extension of chemistry lab, which he wanted to have for ACCS to upgrade it to rise to the current lengths. Well Pratap, you tell me, for any new venture or start, as a businessman, we always tend to get nervous for whether it would get clicked or not, as lot of uncertainties do gather around it. So we always tend to change for a while under these uncertainties, right or not? Yes Mahendra, very right. So Pratap, it was the requirement raised by him only, and after getting it what more than that the requirement, he may have got nervous for sure, by thinking it shall not come back as a boomerang if it fails or not worked, right? So this thing is genuine for all of us. What you say on this, Pratap and Shripad? What you say? Well Mahendra, you said it right. But remember, superior sir is a seasoned person in his subject, and the overall requirements are corrected by himself only. So there is hardly any point to get nervous, right? Plus it was just an extension of chemistry lab only, which is the need of time, right? But sir, I would go with Mahendra sir's opinion. We all do many things on daily basis, but for many new things we do get nervous for sure. Though we back ourselves with our experience in that subject, still we get on the toes many times when it comes to the final result around it. So I think he was nervous with this new development. Okay then, if you think so, then I have to go with you both. Okay, so 2 points are over now. Let's discuss the third one, the additional staff requirement. Well, here I would like to say Supriyo sir is always looked to get things done in smaller budgets. He was not the one in the favor of having big investments and lesser outputs against it. He always remained low key for all financial matters and always went with lesser investments and gathered more output simply due to his planned strategies, which made it big success in ACCS. He is famous for this thing in campus, and that is why we all look for his opinions to get things done when it comes to any financial matter. And he used to help us in that with his big heart. So coming to the staff requirement for the extension part of chemistry lab, well, I can say the way I know him, he must have thought of all duties, the existing and the additional all together. And then, keeping all people and their skills in mind with respect to required time at work, he must have given the requirement of 3 instead of 9. So he added that work with existing staff to make them more busy by ensuring that they would go home on time, plus with not to burden them more. So in a way, he managed to make them fully busy within the official timings. I know him. He hardly made them wait till late, whereas he used to sit for longer durations. He never kept other staff for this long at working hours. So I guess this point too looks genuine for me. I guess all 3 things are over now, but the way I know, I have one query. What is that, Pratap? Well, Mahendra, from last 3 years he made himself busy in chemistry research work, which is outside world subject, not which comes in any academical purpose or limits. He went busy in that research work at times. The way I know, even he spent his off days on it, maybe whole day itself. So that may have caused these behavioral changes in him. I recollect he used to sit in front of me for a discussion of any work, but would remain busy in his own world of his mind, and that I have noticed from last 2-3 years now.